Canada, we know you have questions, and every morning at this time, we're getting you answers about COVID-19. Joining us this morning is infectious diseases specialist, Dr. Isaac Bogosh. Good to have you with us again. Just to highlight really quickly for everybody, we're going to be talking about high-risk pets and loss of smell. But first, we keep hearing this information about people with underlying conditions being most at risk. But what is an underlying condition? Is it cancer? Is it asthma, MS? What makes you high risk?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. We know that there's certain medical conditions that may put someone at greater risk for having a severe infection. Certainly anything that affects the heart and the lungs, so cardiopulmonary disease, for example, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease may be a risk factor for more severe infection. Diabetes is certainly one, and of course, any conditions that suppress the immune system. So people who have cancer or who are taking medications that suppress their immune system for various reasons may be at greater risk for infection.
And what about pregnant women? We know that they often have suppressed immune systems as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, there's only been a small data available for pregnant women, but that data has not demonstrated a greater risk in those women to date. We're all waiting for larger studies to come out with pregnant women, but so far the data doesn't show that pregnant women have worse outcomes.
We've had a lot of questions about animals and pets. If you do develop symptoms, is there anything to keep in mind in terms of your pets and isolation?
I think it's important that if people have a pet and they end up having symptoms, that they make sure that that pet is not really in contact with other people. And, you know, people often snuggle their pets and touch their pets and pet their cats and dogs. And we have to be mindful that this virus can certainly stick to surfaces. And if other people are petting that cat or that dog, that might be a vector or a mode of transmitting the infection to other people. So I think, you know, while obviously cats and dogs and pets need love, if someone has the infection or might have the infection and is in touch with their cat and dog, then maybe keep that pet to yourself and not have other housemates or family members touch that animal.
Isolate yourself, isolate your pet. Okay, last question. This has come out recently and lots of talk about this. Is loss of smell an indicator that you have COVID-19?
So, I mean, there's a ton of chatter about this, and it's kind of funny. I mean, look, it may very well be a potential indicator of this infection. But we should remember that with just about any other upper respiratory viral infection that anyone has ever had, they've probably had a bit of a loss of a sense of smell. It's called anosmia. It's transient, it's obnoxious. People often don't even mention it. It comes back after a while. I think at the end of the day, when the dust settles, we'll see that maybe this is related, maybe it isn't related, but certainly this is going to be integrated into ongoing clinical trials that are really looking at the more detailed signs and symptoms of infection. So an interesting point.
Dr. Bogosh, really quickly, if you are experiencing loss of smell and maybe don't show any other symptoms, should you be going to get tested?
At this point, I would hold off. At this point, I would hold off. I would really look for other more overt signs and symptoms of infection before going to get tested. That might change with time, but as of today, if that's the only thing you have where your sense of smell is just slightly off than before, I wouldn't go rushing in to get tested, but that might change.
Dr. Bogosh, like all the information, it's great to have the very latest from you. Thanks for joining us this morning. And a reminder to our viewers, if you have a question, I know you do, post it to social media, and we're going to check in with Dr. Bogosh and other practitioners every day of this week at this time. Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.